Laughter is a universal language, but when it comes to African stand-up comedy, it's like a vibrant dialect, rich with culture, history, and a sprinkle of that unmistakable African flair. You see, comedy in Africa isn't just about telling jokes, it's about storytelling, weaving in the fabric of our lives, our struggles, our joys, and our absurdities. It's about taking the mundane and turning it into something that makes you laugh until your sides hurt. Let's talk about the art of storytelling. In many African cultures, storytelling is an ancient tradition, passed down through generations. It's how we share our history, our values, and our humor. Stand-up comedians in Africa tap into this rich vein of tradition, turning everyday experiences into comedic gold. They take something as simple as a trip to the market and transform it into a hilarious saga of bargaining with a vendor who insists that the price of tomatoes is higher than the GDP of a small nation. You know that feeling when you're trying to haggle and the vendor looks at you like you just suggested they sell their firstborn? That's comedy. And let's not forget about family. Oh, family, the source of endless material. African families are a unique breed. You have your aunties who are always in your business, your uncles who have a story for every occasion, and your cousins who seem to have a PhD in mischief. A comedian might recount the experience of attending a family gathering where everyone is trying to outdo each other with their achievements. Oh, you're a doctor? Well, my son is a neurosurgeon, and he just bought a house. Meanwhile, you're sitting there, still trying to figure out how to explain that you're still single and working on your personal growth. Then there's the topic of relationships. African stand-up comedians have a way of dissecting love and dating that is both relatable and uproariously funny. They'll talk about the pressure to marry, the expectations from parents, and the awkwardness of introducing a partner to the family. So, you bring home your girlfriend, and your mother looks at her like she's a rare species of bird. What's her tribe? What's her background? Does she know how to cook? The audience roars with laughter because we've all been there, feeling the weight of our family's expectations while trying to navigate the minefield of modern dating. And let's not overlook the political landscape. African comedians have a knack for turning the absurdities of politics into punchlines. They'll take a politician's blunder and spin it into a tale that has the audience in stitches. Did you hear what the minister said about the budget? He thinks we can all just cut back on eating to save money. I mean, have you seen the price of rice? At this rate, I'll have to start foraging for wild berries. It's a clever way to address serious issues while keeping the mood light, allowing people to laugh at the chaos that often surrounds them. Now, if you've ever been to an African wedding, you know it's a spectacle like no other. Comedians love to draw on the extravagance of these events. You know you're at an African wedding when the DJ plays Jerusalema for the 100th time and the bride and groom are still dancing like it's the first time. Meanwhile, you're just trying to figure out how to survive the buffet line without getting trampled. The humor lies in the shared experience, the camaraderie of knowing that we've all been part of these grand celebrations, complete with the endless food, the colorful outfits, and the inevitable drama. And speaking of drama, let's talk about the everyday struggles. African comedians have a way of highlighting the absurdity of life's challenges. You ever try to get a taxi in the middle of a rainstorm? It's like trying to catch a fish with your bare hands. You're standing there, drenched, waving your arms like a madman, and all the taxis just zoom past you like you're invisible. It's a relatable moment that resonates with everyone who has ever faced the chaos of urban life. But it's not just the struggles that comedians focus on. It's also the resilience and the joy that comes from overcoming them. There's a beautiful irony in how African comedians can take the most challenging situations and find humor in them. You know, we may not have much, but we have laughter. We can be broke, but at least we can laugh about it. I mean, who needs a fancy car when you can fit 10 people in a matatu and still have room for a goat? It's this spirit of resilience that shines through, reminding us that laughter is a powerful tool for coping with life's difficulties. And let's not forget the cultural nuances that make African stand-up comedy so rich. Each region has its own flavor, its own style. In Nigeria, you might find comedians who use pidgin English to create a rhythm that's infectious. In South Africa, the humor might be laced with a sharp critique of social issues, delivered with a unique blend of wit and charm. In Kenya, you might hear stories that reflect the hustle and bustle of city life, infused with a sense of community and belonging. Each comedian brings their own perspective, their own voice, and their own experiences, creating a tapestry of humor that is as diverse as the continent itself. The beauty of African stand-up comedy is that it transcends borders. You can be sitting in a small club in Accra, and the jokes resonate with someone from Nairobi or Johannesburg. It's a reminder that, despite our differences, we share common experiences, common struggles, and most importantly, a common sense of humor. In a world that can often feel heavy and burdensome, African stand-up comedy offers a breath of fresh air. It's a celebration of life, a reminder to find joy in the little things, and an invitation to laugh at ourselves. Whether it's through the lens of family, relationships, politics, or the everyday absurdities of life, African comedians have a unique ability to connect with their audiences, leaving them in stitches, while also prompting them to reflect on the world around them. So the next time you find yourself in need of a good laugh, seek out the best African stand-up comedy. Allow yourself to be swept away by the stories, the laughter, and the shared experiences. Because in the end, it's not just about the jokes, it's about the connections we make, the laughter we share, and the reminder that no matter where we come from, we all have a story worth telling. And sometimes, the best way to tell that story is through laughter.